My name is Xenia Douglas. I'm the founder of Thrive Alive and I'm here with Dazzle magazine. So Thrive Alive is pretty much, it started off as my journey and me, everything that I learned about food in a time when I was becoming extremely sick and going to doctors was not assisting me in terms of getting better. In that time, I used Thrive Alive to document my journey and everything that I was researching about food, nutrition, and holistic wellness. I started suffering with a lot of inflammation, a lot of skin issues to the point where I was unrecognizable in 2020, and it was very devastating for me in terms of my confidence. So I started reading a lot more about food and nutrition, paying attention to it. I ended up starting to study nutrition and I heard about plant-based living, so it became my journey of documenting plant-based living. And then the more I talked about it, the more people would say, Xenia not doing too bad. Then everybody wanted to learn more, so I started educating. So plant-based living is an 80-20 lifestyle where 80% of the time you're eating more whole foods, fiber foods, foods high in starch, and the other 20% of the time you're eating basically foods that are low in fat and things that will not take you too far away from your goals. So one of the first things that I tell people is I eat a lot of foods that are very close to the ground. So I try to stick to potatoes, and then you have rice and beans, and then you have plantain, things like that, at least for 80% of my week, like my Monday to Friday. Saturday I might dabble into something else. I'll be a fries with something, but I try not to stay in a place where I'm not going to meet my goals at the end of the day, because you want to make sure you look good, you want to make sure your skin is good, you want to make sure you don't end up with hair loss and stuff like that. So that's what plant-based living is. You're living in an 80-20 lifestyle. A majority of your diet is plant foods, whole unprocessed plant foods. When I started my vlog, initially the response was, what Xenia talking about? Why Xenia keep talking about these plants? Plants are things that we just keep in our backyard. But after I explained how you can use your food to kind of help you deal with maybe sometimes even chronic diseases you might have suffered from, that's when people start to realize, okay, she's just teaching us how to manipulate our foods to assist us. And then it began to grow. People started asking me questions about little things that they experience, like joint pains. Some people, they talk to me about maybe they have PCOS or hormonal imbalances, so they'd ask me questions related to that. I let them know based on what I researched, this is what I learned that assists with this issue. If I'd suffer from it, this is what I did. The word spread, people started to hear about it, they'd start coming to my lives, they started listening to my talks, following my posts, and that's why we're where we're at today on my little page. In the future for Thrive Alive, my only goal is to continue to assist more people in that capacity, but I'm also looking at finding ways to provide more whole food, or sometimes even access to certain vegan products that people don't have here. The supermarkets are doing a good job thus far, but I feel like if you have somebody who's trying to push the narrative of having people eat a lot better, focusing on their health, trying to stay away from chronic diseases at a young age, I'm trying my best to use my page as that platform, but I do want to provide products and other things that they can use to better themselves in terms of the way that they eat. First, I wanted to be a nutritionist, but now I want to be a holistic nutritionist. And holistic nutrition is about focusing on all 5 assets of health. So there's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? I think most times you go to a doctor and they speak to you just about the physical, they tell you what you might need to eat, and I want to make sure that if I have clients and my clients are aware of all those assets of their health and find ways to, you know, pinpoint maybe you might be breaking out because you're not sleeping enough, or maybe it's too much sugar in your diet, or maybe your joints hurt because you haven't been getting enough calcium, vitamin D, etc. I want to make sure that I'm studying something where I can pay attention to every aspect of the person's overall well-being to treat their issue. So that's the goals for what, 2026? Hopefully 2026. Yeah, I think the advice I would give to anybody who's interested in trying to eat better, trying to start their health and wellness journey, first things first is you need to start small. That's what I had to realize. You really can't just jump into it, but baby steps are going to help you in the long run to be consistent. And the second thing I would say is that if you know you are suffering with something, whether it be hormonal imbalances, PCOS, always make sure you're talking to your physician as well as working to figure out how you can holistically deal with the issue as well. That's what worked for me, so I hope it works for you. You can find Thrive Alive on Instagram at Thrive Alive, Thrive Alive with an extra E, and be sure to subscribe to Dazzle magazine on YouTube.